topic is black female lawyers. And my first guest tonight is Miss MWooten, who is the Secretary of the Nashville Bar Association. And let me welcome you to Black Pulse, Miss Wooten. Miss Wooten, we mentioned in our introduction the fact that black female lawyers had made substantial gains over the last couple of decades. And I'd like to start this part of our program off by talking about some of the gains that have been made by black female attorneys here in Nashville, perhaps over the last decade.
Well, so the first thing you will observe is that there are more black female lawyers. There were approximately 5 visible female lawyers in 1978. I would imagine that that number now has grown to approximately 50 or so. Even though black female lawyers are still the minority, are in the minority as compared to other minorities. There are more black male lawyers, there are more white female lawyers, there are fewer black female lawyers. However, there is a greater number today than there were 10 years ago.
In proportion to all of the lawyers that are out there, there are more black female lawyers today than at any other time.
Yes, there are.
Very good. Now, what about Nashville itself in terms of some of the occupations that black female lawyers become involved in? What are some of the occupations that are available to them?
Well, I think all occupations, all legal occupations are now available to black female lawyers. I can only think of one occupation per se that's void at this time in Nashville of any black female, and that would be that of a judge. Black females are commissioners, they're directors, they're district attorneys, they're defenders, they're in the private bar, they're in business, they're in boards of directors. I think black females and black female lawyers also are found in all prospective situations at this time.
Now, you're with the Public Defender's Office yourself, are you not?
I'm with the Federal Public Defender's Office of Middle Tennessee.
Now, you make a distinction between the Federal Public Defender's Office and perhaps the local Public Defender's Office. I understand you've worked on both areas.
I have. The Metro Public Defender's Office, which is now headed by Bill Schulman, is a part of the metropolitan government, and they are restricted. They restrict their practice to the state courts. We, on the other hand, are under the auspices of the United States courts from Washington, and we practice in the federal district courts, the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, and the United States Supreme Courts.
Now, that's the federal
Public
Defender's Office.
Right.
Now, what about the local Public Defender's Office?
The local defender's office practices in the state courts, and there may be occasions that they go to federal court on a particular issue. That doesn't happen that often. But they practice before the general sessions and the criminal courts of Davidson County here in Nashville.
Now, what is the career opportunities for a black female attorney in the Public Defender's Office, both on the local and federal levels, Ms. Wooten?
I guess it would be easy to say that the opportunities are unlimited. However, one would have to realize that in order to become, say, the boss of the office, to become the Metro Public Defender's Office, is a county-wide race, and it's a public, you're a public official and you're elected by the public. On the other hand, the Federal Public Defender's Office, the Federal Public Defender is appointed by the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, and it's an appointed position. So, but within the office, you're only limited by whatever titles that the office is limited by. For example, I was hired as an assistant federal public defender, and I'm now the deputy federal public defender, but I would not be the federal public defender as long as Mr. Martin is there.
And so it's a career move that is based primarily upon time. Now, are there many women in the Public Defender's Office, black female attorneys in that Public Defender's Office?
In our office, in the Federal Public Defender's Office, we're a very small office, and I am the only female and I am the only black person in the office. In the Metropolitan Public Defender's Office, to my knowledge, there are no black females at this time, but there are 2 female lawyers.
Now, for those who might aspire to become involved in that aspect of law, what would be one of your suggestions as to what they might do?
It's really simple. The first thing they'd have to do is pass the bar, graduate from law school and successfully pass the bar examination. Public defender offices are very interested in those persons who are willing to work with poor people who are accused of crimes. That's simply what we do in the type work I do.
And so, for the most part, it's an area that's wide open for black female attorneys. But one of the important things is that they have to have the law degree in order to even become involved in it. Now, some of our young people would like to become involved in law. Now, what would be your suggestions to them, Ms. Wooten?
As soon as they made a decision that they were interested in becoming a lawyer, well, let me start over. Hopefully they would make their decision to become a lawyer early enough to focus upon some real basic skills while they're in high school or college. Because writing and communicating is very important to the practice, a very important skill which you must have before you learn other skills, my suggestion would be that they emphasize, focus on those areas while they're in high school and undergraduate school. Do their best to make very good grades because law school is a very competitive arena. Practice in law is a competitive arena. Once they've completed school, college, they just need to apply to a number of schools. Let me say that another way. Before they complete college, they should apply to a number of schools, and once they are accepted, make good grades, work hard, get involved in extracurricular activities to try to so they can try to decide what area of the law they may be interested in.
So that they can not only have a balanced educational life, but a balanced social and cultural life too, becoming involved in all aspects of a college career.
Yes, as well as having a perspective, maybe a wider perspective of what they want to do when they get out.
Very good. And once they pass the bar examination, there are many opportunities available for black females in the area of the public defender's office as well as these other areas.
In the law in general, and I think those opportunities are expanding.
Very good. And let me thank you for giving us that very important information today, Ms. Wooten. And we'll be back with you following this commercial break.